All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's Millennial Trades. It's December 30th, 2022. The trading year is over, and the big headline is Wall Street books worst year since 2008. And I think we have a long ways to go. You could interpret this as, a great buying opportunity, and maybe long term it is, but in the short term, over the next year, maybe over the next several years, we could be looking at more downside, at least more chop. To think that the markets will break highs anytime soon, to me, it just seems unrealistic. We rallied a little bit towards the end of the day. I think the NASDAQ futures and the S&P 500 pretty much closed flat. We did not break the highs from yesterday, and I was watching Amazon and PayPal. We didn't break any of yesterday's highs, but it did look like we were gonna kind of fall just broadly across the markets, and markets ended up rallying a little bit today. Dollar definitely showed some weakness today. I took a trade, and because of the choppy market action, I was out of the trade before 11 o'clock, and I only made like about $100. I think it was like $112 that I made today. So, trying to recover from that loss over the Christmas holiday, right, where I was trying to swing trade those PayPal puts, and I'm glad I sold those because PayPal never did hit that strike price. And I'm glad I'm not holding anything over the weekend, this time around, because we have another long weekend. I don't think the market opens until Tuesday. And so, yeah, ending the year on a green note, right? Ending the year up substantially. I'm going to have to calculate it all and look in my brokerage statement, but I would estimate right now I made about 20 grand since quitting my job in October. I think it was right around Halloween, maybe a week before Halloween. I think I made about 20 grand since then. So this next year, 2023, I've got financial goals. I'm going to do a video about this, my financial goals. We'll do that over the weekend. What I expect to earn, or at least what I'm going for, my trading goals, goals as far as managing risk a little bit better. We're going to talk about all of that in a separate video over the weekend. But yeah, Wall Street booking its worst year since 2008. Historic, right? We lived through a historic year. The fact that I'm green and up so big on the year, I think is just a testament to my tenacity. It's a testament to my my determination, because I could have given up. I could have given up at any point in time, and I was down $3,500 on the year as of like August, and made all of that back. And then September, October, I was just getting really tired of the job. I was starting to make money again trading, and I just went for it. So we're going to go for it in 2023. You have European stocks as well, their worst year since 2008. Bitcoin fell 60% in 2022. I think Tesla's down like 70 something percent, 75%. Maybe a little bit less than that now with today's rally. But yeah, stocks just ended the year horribly. What do you expect? It's the last week, the last trading week. I wasn't expecting any major miracles. A lot of people, I guess we're trying to anticipate some sort of Santa Claus rally. I wasn't willing to make any big bets on that, and it never did materialize. Commodities are up a little bit today. You've got crude oil back up at above $80 a barrel. Gold is at $18.23, silver at $23.95, and I did stack a lot of silver and gold this, maybe not a lot to some people, but for me, I think my stacking goals were pretty solid this year. I spent thousands and thousands on metals, whether in the form of silver bullion, gold coins, silver jewelry. Did not get a gold chain yet this year, and that is kind of a smaller goal of mine in 2023 is to try to, get some gold jewelry as well. But I like the metals. I really do, especially, all the talk about, BRICS nations, the talk about a potential commodity-based currency to rival the dollar someday. Not that I want to see that, right? I mean, I'm perfectly fine with the dollar being the world reserve currency, but I'm not, as an American, I'm not arrogant enough to think that the Federal Reserve and the government is not capable of completely running the dollar into the ground. I mean, they basically have in a lot of ways. So it's just been a historic year. I can't believe we survived it. Like, we finally got through this year, and now we can look forward to another trading year. And yeah, I mean, I'm just glad I didn't get caught up in buying the dip, especially the last 6 months. I'm just very happy with my decision on not buying the dip, my decision to continue short-term trading, as risky as it is. I think I made great financial decisions. I made the best financial decisions this year, probably out of my entire life. I actually have some life savings now. It's just great. It's great. And I'm blessed by God. I do give the glory to God because, for whatever reason, I told you guys this, but I was not really given a financial education at all. Not by my school, not by my parents. I had zero financial or economic education. And it was never offered to me. So I didn't really discover this until I was about 30 years old and COVID hit. So, to think that I lived through one of the worst crashes in history and I'm up big on the year as a result of short-term trading and not, listening to Kramer and CNBC telling me to buy the dip. And I wasn't really involved in crypto. I feel really good. I feel blessed, and I feel like I'm making good financial decisions. So I hope all of you are doing the same. We're going to continue to talk about, trading and trading styles. I want to get more into that going into the new year. So all of that being said, I want to keep this video relatively short, but I did want to hit the Andrew Tate news. Most of you guys have seen this now, but the sort of the right-winger Andrew Tate on social media has been arrested in Romania on human trafficking charges. Now, my hunch is that Andrew Tate is a deep stater. Okay, that's just my hunch. You look into his family background. You look into who he is. Nobody, in my opinion, gets to these kind of levels without being supported. Even though he's been banned from social media platforms, it does seem that the social media platforms still do support Andrew Tate content. You see it everywhere. And I think there's a reason for that. Now, the Romanian authorities apparently have been wanting to pick him up on human trafficking charges, and this won't be the first human trafficking charge that he's caught. I think he caught a human trafficking charge like a year ago. The allegation is that they're flying girls in from all over the world and then coercing them or forcing them into doing cam shows in Romania. And Andrew Tate has been the guy that's talked about, how much better the Romanian government is compared to a lot of other Western governments. I mean, he's trashed living in America over Romania, saying how safe Romania is and how the cops won't mess with you in Romania and nobody can touch him in Romania. But he keeps getting arrested on human trafficking charges, I think, in Romania. But definitely this time around. The reason I'm even bringing this up is because it does involve, to some extent, the speculation that the World Economic Forum and Klaus Schwab may have moved in to just try to get rid of him, right? Because they tried to cancel him. They tried to ban him off social media platforms. Then he got his Twitter account back since Elon Musk has taken over Twitter. And so, this whole drama here, the reason he got picked up, right? Romanian authorities have been trying to catch up to him for a while, but he's a cosmopolitan. I mean, he's kind of a globalist himself, right? He does it. And I don't trust anybody that doesn't have roots. Anybody that's just sort of, living in multiple different countries and doesn't really have any true roots, it's hard to trust people like that, because they're cosmopolitans, they're globalists essentially. And yeah, he's a right winger and a Muslim and all this kind of thing. He went full retard when he converted to Islam. I won't get into that today, but the way the Romanian authorities caught up to him, you just can't write this stuff in a book. He got in a tit for tat with Greta Thunberg on Twitter, and they were just having a go at each other, and she said something back to one of his tweets, because he was bragging about all the cars he had. He was bragging about how much greenhouse gas emissions he uses, with all these. I think he said he had 33 cars, which that's kind of a weird number. Oh, I got 33 cars. Why 33? Even if that's not true, why did he pick the number 33? I don't know. To me, it's bizarre, right? I'm always looking for the esoteric in all of this kind of stuff. But Greta Thunberg got the upper hand on him, at least with the Twitter crowd. Some of his tweets were only getting like a couple 100,000 likes and stuff, and she was getting millions, like 3 million. She responded to him. She was like, you can email me at smalldickenergy@gmail or something. It was just some kind of corny joke, but a lot of people liked it. And so Andrew Tate made a video response on Twitter. And apparently there was a pizza box. This is the other weird thing too. You get into like the Pizzagate conspiracy theories and stuff, and we're talking about human trafficking here. A pizza box is what led Romanian authorities to believe he was actually in the country. So they got a search warrant for his mansion and arrested both him and his brother. But it was a Jerry's, or some Romanian pizza parlor called Jerry's Pizza. That pizza box, because he was bragging about how he doesn't recycle. That pizza box is what pretty much got him arrested in the video, responding to Greta Thunberg. So, and she's the climate change activist. You guys remember her. She was like the 14-year-old a few years ago. She's 19 now, but she was the 14-year-old that sailed across the ocean, I think to speak at the World Economic Forum, if they, or maybe to speak for the United Nations here in the States. But the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, the global elite, they've been pushing climate change activism and Greta Thunberg for a long time now. It's Greta Thunberg. I'm having a little bit of a go at her with the other name. So there's a few theories out here. Number one, that this is just a big publicity stunt by Andrew Tate and the globalists just to continue pushing Andrew Tate. All right, I can't rule that out completely, because I do think, even though he's a right winger, I think he's a deep stater. He's obviously a cosmopolitan. He's a Muslim. There's just a lot of red flags with Andrew Tate. Not to mention, what's the course called? Hustlers Academy or something. Basically just selling financial and dating advice to the virgins throughout the world. And so, he's made a lot of money off of this, but put all that aside, right? I can't rule it out that this isn't some publicity stunt to push Andrew Tate by the global elite themselves in cooperation with Andrew Tate. That's possible in my mind, right? Call me crazy. Number two, the second option is that he really is guilty of the human trafficking charges. Perhaps they are flying women in. Romania too, he talks about how safe Romania is, but isn't Romania literally the place where, aren't there rumors about dungeons in Romania where European elites can torture people? They can torture people in these I don't know what you would call them, torture houses in Romania. There was a couple of movies like Hostel done about it. There was a movie too about basically a torture chamber on a train in Romania. But there's all kinds of rumors. We know Romania is not a great place to live, and Andrew Tate has been telling people, "Oh yeah, it's so safe, and the cops are cool, and I can get away with anything here." And it's weird that he lives in Romania, right? Talk about shithole countries, to quote Donald Trump. And so, is it possible that they were trafficking women for this cam show in Romania? I suppose that's possible. But the third option here is that the global elite actually don't like Andrew Tate, and this tit for tat with Greta Thunberg was just like the final straw recently, and Klaus Schwab just had to move in. He was like, he's disrespecting one of our brightest proteges at the World Economic Forum. We got to move in and, teach him a lesson. Is it possible the human trafficking charges are trumped up by the World Economic Forum to try to completely get rid of Andrew Tate? Because, he said himself, they tried to cancel me. They couldn't do it. So what's the next option? Well, there's only a few options. Put him in jail or, have him. So those are the three options that I think are plausible. That number one, this could be just a publicity stunt. Number two, that the charges could be real. Number three, that the charges could be trumped up by the global elite to try to silence Andrew Tate. I'm not ruling out any of those ideas. And you see... Well, Andrew Tate has a lot of soy boys that follow him, but then there's a lot of soy boys that don't like Andrew Tate. I'm indifferent to him. Obviously, the content is hilarious. Obviously, there's some entertaining stuff, like his Piers Morgan interview. I think that's gold. But, there's a lot of soy boys that really support Andrew Tate, but then there's a lot of soy boys on social media that hate Andrew Tate. They think he's a misogynist and all this kind of thing. So there's a mix, but I'm just trying to stay completely neutral here. Those are the three options that seem the most likely to me. But you guys let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And the whole Romanian thing, why does he have to live in Romania? He doesn't live in Romania. He's a cosmopolitan. He doesn't live anywhere. And again, just look into Andrew Tate and his father's possible connections to the intelligence community. It's weird, and people don't just end up on Piers Morgan. You have to kind of be somebody that the deep state fucks with to end up on, a show like Piers Morgan. So I don't believe this idea that he's just some random guy that was plucked out of obscurity and became a reality TV star and a kickboxer, a famous kickboxer, right? He got his start on reality TV too. When I was in LA, for a while, I was going for this show on MTV, but even like a simple, basic 15-minute little thing or a half an hour show on MTV, they look into your entire background. They do background checks, and if there's like one little thing that they don't like, they're not gonna, you just never get the call back. So obviously, for Andrew Tate to be a reality TV star, pretty sure that's how he came up. I want to say it may have been Big Brother UK, I know this sounds conspiratorial, but it is what it is. You guys let me know what you think. Am I way off here? Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. But yeah, I just thought that was interesting. And the fact that the World Economic Forum and Klaus Schwab's name is getting dragged into all this. It was economic or financially related enough for me to at least give it a mention. I don't like focusing on this day-to-day drama and stuff, but just curious to see what you guys think. It was quite a way to end the trading year, having Andrew Tate arrested in Romania on human trafficking charges, supposedly coercing women into doing cam shows after telling everybody how safe Romania is for him to live there. And then you've got the speculation that because of his tit for tat with Greta Thunberg, that the global banking elite just had to put a stop to him. I couldn't help but at least mention it on my channel today. So that's pretty much it. Oh, the last thing I wanted to get into is that, one of my goals for 2023 is to read a lot more. All right. And I've read about 3 books in December, a couple of religious books, a book on basic Aristotle, philosophical book. And so anyways, I've been buying more books that I can read into 2023, and one of the books that I'm reading now is called Too Big to Fail. Obviously, this is about the 2008 financial crisis. It's by Andrew Ross Sorkin, who's a CNBC host. Speaking of the World Economic Forum, this is why I wanted to bring it up. Andrew Ross Sorkin was named by the World Economic Forum like a global leader in media and finance or something. It's in here somewhere. But Andrew Ross Sorkin was handpicked by Klaus Schwab in the World Economic Forum, and there's a lot of interesting admissions in this book. You get into the real financial backers of the transatlantic slave trade. They never admit this stuff on TV, right? I mean, CNBC they're never going to do a story where they come out and talk about this. But, he has a whole chapter here about the Lehman Brothers, which was one of the banks, the investment banks that failed in 2008. I think it was bought out by JP Morgan. And the Lehman Brothers were from southern Germany and had gone into business in Montgomery, Alabama in the cotton trade. All right? And they established the New York Cotton Exchange. Now, why that? I posted this on my social media, and some people didn't quite understand it. But the key sentence here was they traded cotton, the country's cash crop, before the Civil War. All right, before the Civil War. That's the key there. And there's other crazy things that Andrew Ross Sorkin. I can't believe they write all this stuff for us to read, but they realize most people are never going to read this, right? You got to read their literature to understand, the elite. You got to read the literature to really get the truth, because they'll never admit this on TV. But yeah, the Lehman Brothers and other big bankers were involved in the cotton trade, which means they were trading a commodity that was being harvested by slaves in the United States, which also means, because the slaves were a commodity too, right? Human slavery, they used to be a commodity. So if they were trading cotton, they were probably financing the transatlantic slave trade as well. And you can get into that as, I'll probably do more content about that as well. The European banks that financed all the ships that were coming from Africa to the New World. You can't make it up, right? But we're told that this one group here is just responsible for slavery, and they demonize like 75% of this country as systematic racists and the inheritors of a systematically racist system that benefits them. But when you actually look into it, right, there were other hands at play here. Another really interesting thing about this book so far, and I'm not even 100 pages in yet, guys. And he's got all the, with Hank Paulson, the Treasury Secretary that was appointed by George Bush in 2008. He goes into these whole long chapters about Hank Paulson's connections, working for Goldman Sachs, being the CEO at Goldman Sachs, right? The Treasury Secretary. Resigns from Goldman Sachs to be the Treasury Secretary. And he's got deep state connections. He worked for the Defense Department, the State Department. And it's like, you got to imagine. And then they try telling you that he grew up on a farm in the Midwest, which grew up on a farm. Did it happen to be a cotton farm? You can't make this stuff up. I mean, the deep state connections with the finance industry, with the banking industry, it's all in this book, Too Big to Fail. And like I said, Andrew Ross Sorkin, he's the guy on CNBC that he just has a lot of trouble looking at the camera. He looks at the camera and then he looks away. He's got real dodgy, sneaky little eyes. He was also pushing vaccine. He was pushing for mandatory vaccines, for companies. There's a clip of him on Instagram saying that, if these companies really cared about the country, they would mandate vaccines for all their employees. This guy's evil. Evil to the core. Handpicked by the World Economic Forum to write books like this and, spread the propaganda on TV. There's connections to the secret societies, the different fraternities that they're all a part of. Anyways, this book, I'll probably do an entire analysis when I'm done with it. I don't know how many weeks or months it's going to take me to finish this, because this is a big book. It's a big book, and I'm not that far along in it yet. But already 100 pages in, and there's so many truth bombs, things that I have been suggesting for a long time, things that I've believed for a long time, but a lot of these assumptions that I've made, just based on common sense, are vindicated in Andrew Ross Sorkin's book. So I can't wait to do a deep dive analysis into that. If you guys are interested in stuff like that, please do let me know in the comment section down below. So I suppose I will leave it there for now. You guys won't see me until Monday night. I'm going to take another break. We've got not only the holiday, but we have, or the New Year's, we have a birthday in the family. So we're going to be spending time with family. We've got a whole family get together again. So I'm going to be focused on that. That's what's important, especially at the end of the year. You'll see me again on Monday night, and we'll talk about my trading goals for the new year. And with that, follow me on Instagram at Millennial Trades. And as always, until next time, I'll see you on the next video.